Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet could hide a story worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. One small piece of copper, minted in 1968, carries a history that many overlook, but collectors know its secrets well. This is the 1968 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that seems simple, yet quietly commands attention among coin enthusiasts. Today, we'll uncover why this tiny coin has captured the fascination of collectors across the United States. The 1968 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents, which have been in continuous production since 1909. Featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse, the Lincoln cent has become an enduring symbol of American coinage. The Mint mark on this penny indicates it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, setting it apart from the more common Philadelphia or Denver issues. While at first glance it might seem like any other penny in your pocket, collectors know that subtle details can make all the difference. To understand the 1968 penny, we need to look at the historical context of its creation. The late 1960s were a time of transition for the U.S. Mint. The nation had recently faced rising copper prices, and there was a strong push to ensure coins could be produced efficiently without sacrificing durability or design. In 1968, Lincoln pennies continued to be composed primarily of a copper core with a thin layer of copper plating, a composition that had been restored after the temporary 1943 steel cents. This year was also marked by large-scale production at all three major mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Among these, the San Francisco Mint was known for producing coins primarily for collectors, often in higher quality proof sets, which would later make these coins highly desirable. The 1968 penny stands out not just for its origin, but also for its unique design features. The obverse showcases the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse retains the wheat ears, a design that had been in place since the penny's debut in 1909. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is its striking quality. Many 1968 pennies were minted with proof-level precision, even for coins that circulated. The Mint mark, a tiny S, just below the date, is a subtle detail that instantly tells collectors that this coin came from the San Francisco Mint. Occasionally, collectors encounter varieties or minor errors, such as doubled dies or off-center strikes, and these can dramatically increase a coin's value. Even a faint doubling on the date or the mint mark can turn an otherwise common penny into a sought-after collector's item. But why exactly is the 1968 Lincoln penny considered rare or valuable? The answer lies partly in numbers and partly in quality. While millions of Lincoln pennies were produced in 1968, only a fraction were minted at San Francisco, and even fewer were preserved in excellent condition. Over the decades, many coins have been lost to circulation, wear, or damage, making well-preserved examples increasingly scarce. Coins graded as uncirculated or in proof condition are especially prized because they show the finest details of Lincoln's profile, the wheat ears, and the crisp mint mark. For collectors, owning a 1968 penny is not just about the coin itself, but about possessing a tangible piece of history, a piece that represents both the era and the skill of the U.S. Mint at that time. Real-world examples of this coin's value show how serious collectors can be. A circulated 1968 penny in average condition might fetch just a few dollars, but a well-preserved, uncirculated example can easily reach hundreds of dollars at auction. Proof coins from this year, especially those with perfect luster and sharp details, have sold for even higher amounts, sometimes in the $1,000 to $2,000 range, depending on the rarity of any unique features or minor errors. One auction in the past decade featured a 1968 proof penny with exceptional eye appeal, selling for over $1,500, a testament to the coin's enduring allure among collectors who prize condition and origin over mere age. These numbers remind us that even a small penny can hold substantial value if it's rare, well-preserved, and sought after. If you're curious about identifying a genuine 1968 Lincoln penny, there are a few key tips. First, examine the mint mark carefully. The S should appear clearly below the date and not show signs of being altered or added. Next, check the coin's surface. Genuine examples, especially proofs, will have sharp details, smooth surfaces, and consistent coloring. Circulated coins will naturally show some wear, but counterfeit or altered pennies often display unusual markings, uneven surfaces, or signs of tampering. Finally, consulting a reputable grading guide or professional numismatist can provide peace of mind, especially if you suspect your coin might be a rare variant. Taking these steps ensures you can separate genuine collector's coins from common or altered pennies. There are also fun facts about the 1968 Lincoln penny that make it a conversation starter for collectors. Did you know that this penny was struck during a time of great change in American coinage? Just a few years before the introduction of the larger mint sets, and before the shift to copper-clad zinc in 1982. It also belongs to a series that includes some of the most famous rare Lincoln pennies, such as the 1909 VDB and the 1955 double die, reminding us that even modest coins can have extraordinary stories. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint has long been associated with high-quality proofs, and the 1968 penny reflects that reputation, making it a collectible favorite even decades later. Collectors today love the 1968 Lincoln penny because it combines history, artistry, and rarity in a single, small package. It represents an era of American history that many people find nostalgic, while also offering tangible investment potential for those who study coins closely. Its enduring design, the iconic image of Lincoln, and the subtle beauty of the mint mark make it a coin that is both accessible to new collectors and prized by seasoned enthusiasts. The thrill of discovering a well-preserved 1968 penny in circulation, or in an old coin collection, is part of what keeps the world of coin collecting vibrant and exciting. As we've seen, the 1968 Lincoln penny is more than just a 1-cent coin. It's a window into history, a testament to the skill of the U.S. Mint, and a piece of the ongoing story of American currency. Whether you find one tucked away in an old jar of change or encounter it in a professional coin collection, it carries the potential to surprise, educate, and even reward its owner. Next time you handle a penny, take a closer look. That ordinary coin in your hand could be hiding an extraordinary tale, waiting for someone to recognize its true worth. The 1968 Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest objects can hold big stories. And just imagine, somewhere out there, in a drawer, an album, or a forgotten coin jar, another 1968 Lincoln penny may be waiting, quietly holding history and value, ready to captivate the next lucky collector who discovers it. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand that could be worth thousands of dollars. It's small, ordinary, and familiar to everyone in America, yet hidden in plain sight, it carries a secret that only a few collectors know. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins in U.S. history, the 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. What makes this penny so special, and why could it completely change the way you look at your spare change? Stay with us, because what you might discover in your pocket could be worth far more than you ever imagined. The 1972 Lincoln penny, officially known as the Lincoln 1 cent, is one of America's most recognized coins, featuring the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. It has been a familiar sight in wallets and cash registers for decades. But unlike the pennies you might find in circulation today, the 1972 no mint mark version holds a story that goes far beyond its simple copper surface. Let's start with the history. The year 1972 marked a period when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies, with most coins coming from either the Philadelphia or Denver mints. Normally, a small letter indicates which mint produced a coin. A D for Denver, a S for San Francisco, and no letter for Philadelphia. This little detail usually goes unnoticed, but in the case of the 1972 penny, it becomes central to its intrigue. During the early 1970s, the demand for copper coins was high, and the mint was experimenting with production processes to meet circulation needs. Millions of pennies were struck every day, and quality control was crucial. Yet even with strict oversight, small errors and unique variations occasionally slipped through. The 1972 Lincoln penny no mint mark is considered rare because of how few examples of certain variations survived from the Philadelphia mint. Now let's talk about the coin itself. On the obverse side, you'll find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to mark Lincoln's 100th birthday. The reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. While the design seems ordinary, collectors are drawn to subtle details such as die cracks, doubled dies, and slight variations in lettering or the positioning of features. The metal composition is another point of interest. Pennies from this period were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Unlike modern pennies, which have a thin copper coating over a zinc core, the 1972 penny has a solid copper structure. This makes it not only more durable, but also gives it a slightly different color and weight compared to coins made after 1982. For collectors, the original copper composition adds an extra layer of appeal. So why is the 1972 no mint mark penny considered rare? While millions of pennies were produced, only a small number show specific errors or features that distinguish them from the standard circulation coins. Some of these include doubling on the date or lettering, weak strikes that reveal unusual details, or subtle differences in the rim and edge. Because these coins were not intentionally made to be rare, surviving examples in excellent condition are particularly sought after. Auction records reveal just how valuable these pennies can be. While a standard 1972 penny might be worth only its face value, coins with unique errors or exceptional preservation have sold for hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars. For example, a 1972 doubled die obverse penny in near-perfect condition has been known to fetch prices well above $1,000 in specialized coin auctions. These sales illustrate how a coin that seems ordinary to the untrained eye can become a prized collector's item with the right features. Identifying a genuine 1972 no mint mark penny is not always straightforward. Collectors start by examining the coin's date and mint mark area, looking for irregularities or signs of wear that might indicate authenticity. A magnifying glass or a simple jeweler's loupe can reveal tiny details invisible to the naked eye. Experts recommend comparing a coin to verified reference images or consulting reputable grading services to avoid common pitfalls, as counterfeit or altered coins do exist. Knowing the coin's weight, composition, and strike details can also help confirm whether it is genuine or a clever imitation. There are some fun and surprising details about the 1972 Lincoln penny that most people don't know. For instance, coins from this era sometimes show slight shifts in the design due to die wear or multiple strikes. Collectors have even found pennies with faint, almost ghostly images overlapping the main design, creating a double effect that can make the coin visually fascinating. And despite being nearly 50 years old, many 1972 pennies are still found in circulation today, meaning someone could stumble upon a valuable one without even realizing it. Collectors love this coin not only because of its potential monetary value, but also for the story it carries. Each 1972 penny is a tiny piece of American history, a glimpse into the economy and culture of the early 1970s. The coin serves as a bridge between generations, reminding us of the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the artistry of coin design. The thrill of discovering an error or an unusual feature adds an emotional connection, making the hunt for rare pennies as much about passion as profit. And here's a little curiosity for you to ponder. Among the countless pennies minted in 1972, only a fraction possess the specific qualities that make them highly collectible today. Could the penny sitting at the bottom of your jar be one of them? The excitement comes not just from the possibility of wealth, but from uncovering something hidden in plain sight, something ordinary that becomes extraordinary through careful observation. In the end, the 1972 Lincoln penny with no mint mark reminds us that even the most familiar objects can hold secrets. Whether it's a doubled die, a subtle error, or simply excellent preservation, each coin tells a story of history, craftsmanship, and chance. For collectors, it's a symbol of discovery and connection to the past. For the casual observer, it's a reminder to look more closely at the everyday items we often take for granted. So next time you find a handful of pennies in your pocket or wallet, take a moment to examine them. One of those coins might not just be a piece of copper, but a rare treasure waiting to be recognized. The 1972 Lincoln penny no mint mark isn't just a coin. It's a small, tangible piece of history, a mystery, and potentially a gateway to something far more valuable than its face suggests. Keep your eyes open. You never know which coin could be the one that surprises you, the one that turns a simple penny into a story worth telling. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could be worth more than you ever expected. A coin so ordinary in appearance that most people pass it by every day, yet to the right collector, it's a hidden treasure. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1973 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark, a small piece of American history that carries a surprising allure for coin enthusiasts and collectors alike. The 1973 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of 1-cent coins featuring Abraham Lincoln, a series that began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1973, the penny had become a familiar piece of American currency, seen in pockets, wallets, and cash registers across the nation. While most pennies from that year are everyday coins with little to distinguish them, the Denver minted example, marked with a small D, holds a special place in numismatic history. In 1973, the United States Mint continued producing pennies primarily from a copper-based alloy. The composition was 95% copper and 5% zinc, a formula that had been in use for decades. This penny featured the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, showing Lincoln in profile facing right, with the word Liberty and the date clearly stamped beside him. On the reverse, the coin displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The detail of the memorial, including the statue of Lincoln at its center, remained a key feature for identifying the coin and assessing its condition. While the 1973 D Lincoln penny might look ordinary at first glance, its value to collectors is tied to rarity, condition, and unusual production characteristics. One reason this coin attracts attention is due to its place in a period of increasing copper prices and changing minting practices. By the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint had begun to experience higher demand and minor production irregularities. Some coins were struck with slight errors, like weak strikes, doubled dies, or variations in the mint mark itself. For collectors, these small differences can turn a standard penny into a highly sought-after piece. The Denver mint mark, a small D located just below the date on the obverse of the coin, is crucial for identification. While many 1973 pennies were minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, the Denver version was produced in larger quantities. Yet finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is rare. Coins that have avoided wear, scratches, and discoloration over nearly 50 years are highly prized. Even minor imperfections can drastically affect the coin's value, making condition assessment a central part of collecting. Some 1973 D pennies have been known to exhibit errors that make them especially valuable. For instance, slight doubling on the date or the word Liberty, or small die cracks near the mint mark, can increase the coin's appeal. While these errors are not present on every coin, collectors often seek them out, scanning piles of ordinary pennies in hopes of discovering a rare misstrike. These subtle differences, often invisible to the casual eye, are what make numismatics both challenging and exciting. When it comes to value, the 1973 D Lincoln penny is not typically a coin that sells for millions. But in exceptional cases, rare error versions or coins in perfect, uncirculated condition can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. For example, a high-grade 1973 D penny with a sharp strike and flawless surfaces can sell for a few $100s, while an error coin with a doubled die or significant die crack might attract bids well above $1,000. These sales illustrate the potential for everyday coins to become significant collector's items when conditions align perfectly. Identifying a genuine 1973 D penny requires careful observation. The mint mark should be a clear, small D directly beneath the date. On genuine coins, the letters and numbers are well defined, with even spacing and consistent depth. Signs of tampering or artificial enhancement, such as altered mint marks or repunched letters, can indicate a counterfeit or modified coin. Inspecting the coin under magnification, comparing it to verified examples, and consulting reputable guides or grading services are all essential steps for any collector seeking to authenticate their coin. Beyond rarity and value, the 1973 D penny offers a fascinating glimpse into the history of American currency. It comes from a time when pennies were still composed primarily of copper, before rising metal costs prompted later changes in composition. It also represents a snapshot of daily life in the early 1970s, a period of cultural and economic transition in the United States. For collectors, holding this coin is not just about potential monetary gain, but about connecting with a tangible piece of the past. There are also some fun and surprising details that make the 1973 penny appealing. For one, the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse includes such fine detail that, in some cases, observers can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. In addition, because the coin is over 40 years old, it often exhibits subtle variations in color and patina, which collectors sometimes describe as giving the coin character or personality. These small, almost imperceptible differences can make each coin feel unique, even among those minted on the same day. Collectors love the 1973 Lincoln penny today because it combines accessibility with the thrill of discovery. Unlike some ultra-rare coins, which only appear once in a lifetime, the 1973 penny is obtainable, yet finding one in top condition or with a notable error can feel like striking gold. It offers an entry point into the wider world of numismatics, where careful observation, patience, and a bit of luck can yield rewards both tangible and historical. As time goes on, coins like the 1973 Lincoln penny continue to capture the imagination of collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. Each coin carries a story, not just of its design and production, but of the hands it has passed through and the decades it has witnessed. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone simply intrigued by history, examining a penny from 1973 can be a journey through American culture, economy, and craftsmanship. So the next time you stumble upon a small copper coin in your pocket or at the bottom of a drawer, take a moment to look closely. That ordinary penny might just be hiding a story worth more than you ever imagined. The 1973 Lincoln penny reminds us that history and value can be found in the most familiar places, waiting for those curious enough to notice. Who knows? Your next treasure could be as close as your own change. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that seems ordinary at first, just a small copper penny. But then you notice the date, the tiny D mint mark, and suddenly what you have might not be just a coin. It could be a piece of history, a collectible treasure, or even a hidden gem worth far more than its face value. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1976 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors across the United States. The 1976 Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of a long and beloved series of coins honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln pennies have been produced since 1909, originally to commemorate the centennial of his birth. And over the decades, they have become one of the most collected coins in American history. The 1976 D penny might look like any other penny in your pocket, but for coin enthusiasts, it carries its own story, unique features, and even moments of intrigue that make it worth understanding. Let's start with the historical context. 1976 was a special year for the United States. It was the nation's bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. While the Lincoln cent wasn't redesigned for the bicentennial, like the quarter or the half-dollar, it was still produced in large numbers to meet the ongoing demand for everyday coins. The D on the coin stands for the Denver Mint, one of the country's key mints responsible for producing billions of coins each year. This tiny letter, no larger than a pinhead, can make a significant difference to collectors, as it instantly tells them where the coin was struck and helps determine its rarity. The 1976 D Lincoln penny is composed primarily of a copper alloy. At this point in history, pennies were mostly made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a warm, reddish appearance. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained largely unchanged for over a century. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. What makes this coin interesting is not just the familiar imagery, but the small variations and errors that occasionally appear in certain mint batches. While most 1976 D pennies are common, some have been discovered with slight doubling on the date or minor die cracks, and these subtle errors can make a coin significantly more valuable to collectors. So why do collectors care about the 1976 D Lincoln penny? On the surface, it might seem like just another coin from a long-running series. But for collectors, every detail matters. The strike quality, the condition, and the mint mark can all affect value. Coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition, often referred to as mint state, are particularly prized. A 1976 penny in near-perfect condition can fetch a premium, sometimes reaching tens or even hundreds of dollars in specialized auctions. While most pennies from this year were circulated and remain everyday coins, the few that were carefully preserved or accidentally produced with slight anomalies become sought-after treasures. Let's look at some real-world examples to give this context. In recent years, uncirculated 1976 pennies graded by professional coin grading services have sold for significantly higher than their face value. Some auction records show that coins with minor minting errors or exceptional luster have sold for several $100s, even though a typical circulated penny might only be worth 1 cent. This shows how collectors prize rarity, condition, and unique characteristics far more than the coin's original purchasing power. If you're curious about whether a 1976 penny in your collection could be valuable, it's important to know how to identify an authentic one. Start by examining the mint mark carefully. The D should appear just below the date on the obverse side, and it should be small, clean, and well-formed. Authentic coins will also show consistent details in Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. If you notice strange shapes, uneven lettering, or colors that seem off, it might be a sign that the coin has been altered or is a counterfeit. For serious collectors, having the coin professionally graded and certified is the safest way to confirm authenticity and condition. Beyond its potential value, the 1976 Lincoln penny has some fascinating quirks and fun facts. For example, because 1976 was the bicentennial year, there was unusually high interest in coins overall, which led to some coins being stored carefully as keepsakes rather than circulated. Many families from that era still have rolls of these pennies tucked away in jars or drawers, forgotten until a collector comes along and spots their hidden value. Some coins even display tiny variations in color due to differences in the copper zinc alloy, giving each coin a subtly unique appearance. Collectors also appreciate the 1976 Lincoln penny because it connects them to a tangible moment in American history. Holding this coin is like holding a small piece of 1970s America, a period of change, celebration, and national reflection. For some, collecting Lincoln cents is about more than monetary value. It's about preserving history, connecting with the past, and understanding how small objects like coins can carry stories for decades. The 1976 penny, while not as flashy as a rare 1943 steel cent or a misstruck 1955 double die, still represents a perfect example of how everyday coins can become extraordinary with the right context and care. Even today, coin collectors of all ages continue to seek out these pennies, looking for coins in pristine condition or ones with subtle anomalies. There is a quiet thrill in finding a coin that seems ordinary but turns out to be worth more than anyone expected. The 1976 Lincoln penny embodies that thrill perfectly. It is accessible to nearly anyone, yet it holds the potential to surprise and delight collectors with its history, condition, and minute details. So the next time you come across a 1976 Lincoln penny, take a closer look. Examine the date, the mint mark, and the fine lines in Lincoln's profile. Think about the Denver mint workers who struck it, the families who saved it, and the history it has quietly passed through. It might just be one of the countless coins from that year, or it could be the one that makes you pause and realize that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry extraordinary stories and hidden value. In the end, the 1976 Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a connection to history, a collector's puzzle, and a small but enduring piece of American culture. Its ordinary appearance belies its potential for discovery, reminding us that curiosity, careful observation, and a little knowledge can turn even the simplest objects into treasures. Keep your eyes open, and the next penny you pick up might be hiding a story worth more than you ever imagined. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, tucked quietly among your everyday change. Now, picture that coin being a simple, unassuming Lincoln penny, one that most people overlook every single day. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A coin, that has captured the attention of collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. By the end of this video, you'll see why this penny isn't just spare change, but a tiny piece of history with surprising value. The 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is part of the long-running series of 1-cent coins honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. These pennies have been in circulation since 1909, making them one of the most familiar coins in American life. Yet, among the billions minted over the decades, some stand out for reasons that go beyond their face value. The 1977 penny without a mint mark is one such example. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Just a copper-colored coin with Lincoln's profile on one side and the Lincoln Memorial on the other. But hidden in its production is a story that has made it highly sought after by collectors. To understand why this penny exists, we need a brief look at its history. In 1977, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies, most bearing either a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, indicating where the coin was struck. Coins without any mint mark were typically made at the Philadelphia Mint. In that era, Philadelphia pennies were generally considered standard and not especially rare. But an unexpected variation or scarcity can suddenly elevate a coin to collectible status. The 1977 no mint mark penny falls into this category because of the subtle anomalies and limited instances where these coins have entered collectors' hands in pristine condition. The design of the 1977 penny was the same familiar one that had been in use for decades. On the obverse, we see a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, carefully sculpted to honor his legacy. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and reflection on the values Lincoln championed. The coin is composed primarily of copper, though by this time the composition had shifted slightly from earlier issues to include a small amount of zinc. These materials give the penny its characteristic color and weight, but they also make it prone to wear over time, which is why finding an uncirculated 1977 no mint mark penny can be so special. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is its rarity. While millions of pennies were produced in 1977, the no mint mark version in high-grade condition is scarce. Over the years, coin enthusiasts have discovered that only a select few of these coins have survived without significant wear or damage. This scarcity, combined with the coin's historical value as part of the Lincoln series, makes it highly appealing. In particular, collectors prize pennies that show strong details on Lincoln's face, crisp lettering, and a flawless finish. Even minor scratches or discoloration can significantly affect the coin's value, which is why condition matters so much in the world of coin collecting. The 1977 no mint mark penny has shown impressive auction and collector value in recent years. While most circulated pennies from this year might be worth only a few cents above face value, high-grade examples can fetch a substantial premium. Coins graded as MS65, for instance, have sold for hundreds of dollars, with some exceptional specimens approaching even higher sums. Auction records highlight that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are well-preserved and free of defects, demonstrating the ongoing demand for this seemingly ordinary penny. Identifying a genuine 1977 no mint mark penny requires careful observation. The first step is checking for the absence of a mint mark, located just below the year on the obverse side. Next, you want to inspect the coin's weight and composition, ensuring it matches official specifications. High-quality magnification can reveal the fine details in Lincoln's profile and the lettering on the reverse. Authentic coins will have consistent color, texture, and depth in their design, while counterfeits often appear flat or uneven. Because the coin is copper-rich, it can develop a natural patina over time, which can also help distinguish it from fakes. There are also some fun and surprising facts about this penny that even seasoned collectors might not know. For instance, the 1977 penny represents a transitional period in U.S. coinage, when the mint was experimenting with different alloy mixes to improve durability and reduce production costs. This experimentation occasionally resulted in subtle variations that can make certain coins more valuable today. Another interesting detail is that despite being over 40 years old, the Lincoln design remains largely unchanged, meaning that every penny you hold from this series connects you directly to a long-standing American tradition. Collectors love the 1977 no mint mark penny not just for its potential financial value, but for the story it tells. It's a tangible link to the past, a reminder of everyday life in the late 1970s, and a symbol of the care and artistry that goes into U.S. coinage. For coin enthusiasts, finding one in excellent condition is like discovering a hidden treasure in plain sight. It's a coin that carries history, artistry, and a sense of mystery, all wrapped up in a small, familiar object that most people spend their lives overlooking. Even beyond collectors, this penny captures the imagination of anyone interested in the unexpected value in everyday objects. Imagine checking your change, spotting a coin that looks ordinary, and realizing it could be worth hundreds of dollars, or even more if perfectly preserved. It's a reminder that history can be found in the smallest details, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector, someone curious about hidden treasures, or simply an American who appreciates the stories behind everyday objects, the 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a fascinating piece of numismatic history. It challenges us to look closer, to question the ordinary, and to recognize the potential value hidden in plain sight. The next time you come across a Lincoln penny from the 1970s, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You never know if you might be holding a rare coin that could unlock a piece of history and perhaps even a financial surprise. In the end, the 1977 no mint mark penny reminds us that every coin has a story, some more remarkable than others, and that sometimes the smallest objects carry the largest mysteries. What other everyday treasures might be waiting quietly in your pocket change? You might be closer to uncovering them than you think. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet could hide a story worth thousands of dollars. A small piece of copper, minted over 40 years ago, quietly circulating in pockets, wallets, and cash registers. Now picture this coin missing a tiny detail so subtle that most people wouldn't notice, but collectors would pay top dollar for it. That coin is the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a seemingly simple coin with a hidden allure that has fascinated collectors for decades. Today, we're going to uncover everything you need to know about this remarkable penny, from its history and design to why it has become such a sought-after collectible. The 1978 Lincoln penny is a 1-cent coin from the United States, part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Unlike many pennies of its era, some 1978 coins carry no mint mark. In U.S. coinage, the mint mark indicates where the coin was produced. Philadelphia, one of the country's main mints, traditionally did not include a mint mark on pennies until more recent decades. So a 1978 penny without a mint mark could either be a standard Philadelphia issue or, in rare cases, part of an unusual era run. What makes this penny truly intriguing is that subtle variations and mistakes during production can turn an everyday coin into a collector's treasure. The year 1978 was an ordinary year in U.S. coinage, but it came during an interesting period. The U.S. economy was transitioning from the challenges of the early 1970s, including high inflation and changes in metal prices. Pennies during this time were still primarily composed of a copper alloy, about 95% copper with 5% zinc. This composition gave the coins their classic reddish-brown appearance, a warm, familiar tone that many collectors instantly recognize. Abraham Lincoln's portrait, unchanged since 1909, graces the obverse of the coin, facing right with the word Liberty to his left and the date to his right. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. While most 1978 pennies look the same, the no mint mark variety stands out to collectors. Mint marks are tiny letters that indicate which U.S. mint produced the coin. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and traditionally no mark for Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark on a 1978 penny doesn't automatically make it valuable, but it does create an opportunity for errors and rare variations to emerge. In coin collecting, even small differences, like a doubled die, a die crack, or an off-center strike, can turn a simple penny into a significant find. So what makes the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny particularly fascinating? First, it represents a period of transition in penny production. Some coins from Philadelphia were accidentally struck with slightly off-center dies, or with die polish lines that created subtle doubling effects on the date or Lincoln's features. These variations are extremely difficult to spot without a trained eye, but are highly prized by collectors. Second, Certain uncirculated examples from this year have remained in pristine condition, thanks to careful storage by coin enthusiasts and collectors over the decades. The combination of age, rarity of minting variations, and condition can make a 1978 no-mint mark penny surprisingly valuable. Real-life examples demonstrate just how sought-after these coins can be. For instance, a 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, in gem uncirculated condition, sold at auction for several $100s, a dramatic increase over its face value of 1 cent. Collectors have paid attention to coins showing the smallest die errors or exceptional luster, sometimes fetching prices of $500 to $1,000 when they meet these rare criteria. Even circulated coins with mild errors can bring $50 to $100 in collector markets, showing that the potential value of these coins goes far beyond their original purpose as mere currency. But how can you tell if a 1978 no-mint mark penny is authentic and potentially valuable? Start by examining the coin carefully with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Check the date and Lincoln's features for any doubling or irregularities. Look for unusual lines, raised areas, or inconsistencies that may indicate a die error. Next, consider the coin's condition. Coins that are scratched, heavily worn, or corroded rarely reach high collector value. Uncirculated coins, showing original mint luster with minimal handling, are the ones that attract the highest bids. Lastly, compare your coin to certified examples from reputable grading companies. Organizations like PCGS and NGC maintain detailed records and images that help collectors distinguish between genuine error coins and common pennies. Avoid coins that seem too good to be true without proper verification, as reproductions and fakes occasionally appear on the market. There are also some fascinating fun facts about the 1978 Lincoln penny that most people don't know. For example, even though the penny is often seen as the least glamorous of U.S. coins, it has a long history of reflecting American society. The Lincoln cent was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of symbolic figures like Liberty. By 1978, millions of these coins were already circulating, yet only a tiny fraction display the minor errors or variations that make them collectible today. Another surprising detail is that the 1978 penny, despite its common appearance, connects us directly to the era of President Jimmy Carter and a time of cultural and economic change in the United States. Each coin carries a little piece of that history in your pocket. Collectors love the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for several reasons. Its combination of age, historical context, and subtle production quirks makes it a compelling addition to any collection. It represents a puzzle that rewards careful observation and research. Unlike modern coins, which are often mass-produced with tight quality control, older pennies like the 1978 issue sometimes contain imperfections that are both rare and aesthetically interesting. They also serve as a bridge between casual collecting and serious numismatics, allowing people to start with something approachable while still offering the potential for real value. Even today, enthusiasts continue to search through old jars, wallets, and coin rolls in hopes of finding one of these hidden treasures. The thrill isn't just about money. It's about connection to history, the excitement of discovery, and the story that every coin carries. A 1978 no-mint mark penny is more than a piece of copper. It's a snapshot of a moment in American history, a challenge for collectors, and a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary surprises. So the next time you find a penny from 1978, take a closer look. Examine its details, notice its color and luster, and imagine the hands that held it before yours. Could it be one of the rare no-mint mark varieties with a subtle error? Could it be a gem that collectors would prize above all others? Even if it's not, appreciating the history, design, and story behind a simple Lincoln penny can transform how you see everyday coins. What seems ordinary may hold secrets waiting to be discovered. And for those who take the time to look, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a reminder that treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a casual collector or someone dreaming of uncovering a valuable coin, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny continues to capture imaginations, bridging the past with the present, and showing that even a 1-cent piece can carry a story worth more than its weight in copper. So keep your eyes open, your hands ready, and maybe one day, you'll hold a coin that's more than just a penny. It could be a piece of history waiting for the right collector to recognize its true value. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet could quietly hide a story worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. A small piece of metal minted decades ago with a subtle D stamped on it, signaling it came from Denver. This is the 1979 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that has captured the curiosity of collectors and casual treasure hunters alike. Today, we're diving into its history, its secrets, and why some of these pennies have become unexpected treasures. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny is part of America's long-running series of 1-cent coins, all featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, or obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. For most people, it's just a small, copper-plated coin they might have seen in their pocket change. But for collectors, this penny is more than just currency. It's a snapshot of American history, a tangible connection to a specific time and place in the late 1970s. In 1979, the United States was experiencing economic changes. Inflation was rising, and the penny itself was made primarily of copper, with a small amount of zinc. The Denver Mint, indicated by the D on the coin, produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year. But among these ordinary coins, certain details make some stand out. That's where the fascination begins. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny may seem simple, but it has several features that make it interesting. Like all pennies of its era, it has a diameter of 19 millimeters and a weight of 3.11 grams. The obverse bears a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been the standard design since 1909. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959 commemorates Lincoln's 150th birthday. But what sets some 1979 D pennies apart are subtle differences and errors that can occur during minting. Some collectors look for doubling on the letters or numbers, slight misalignments, or unusual strikes. These minting quirks are rare and can dramatically increase a penny's value. Even small differences in color or texture, like a coin that's unusually shiny or a bit darker, can hint at something unique. While most 1979 D pennies remain common, the ones with errors or perfect mint condition are the ones collectors prize. So, why is this penny considered valuable? It's partly about rarity, but it's also about demand. Collectors love to complete their Lincoln penny collections, and that means securing examples from every year and mint mark. A 1979 D penny in uncirculated condition, or one with a notable minting error, becomes a coveted piece. Unlike a coin you might spend without thinking, these pennies are pieces of a larger story, each one connecting to a specific year, mint, and historical context. In recent years, some 1979 D Lincoln pennies have appeared in auctions for surprising amounts. While most coins from this year are worth just a few cents, pristine examples with full mint luster have sold for tens of dollars, and rare error coins can fetch even higher prices. Collectors are willing to pay for the assurance of authenticity and the satisfaction of owning a coin that stands out among millions. These sales provide a tangible reminder that even everyday objects can become treasures. Identifying a real 1979 D penny is simpler than you might think, but attention to detail is crucial. Look for the small D below the year and inspect the coin for clarity in the design. Authentic coins will have consistent lettering, a uniform edge, and the copper coloration expected of that era. Be wary of reproductions, which might have unusual colors, weight discrepancies, or poorly defined details. A magnifying glass can reveal small features that confirm authenticity, and consulting a trusted coin reference guide or a professional dealer adds a layer of certainty. Beyond rarity and value, the 1979 D penny holds fascinating stories. It's a coin from an era just before the major shift to predominantly zinc pennies in 1982, meaning it carries the heft and warmth of copper. Each penny might have passed through countless hands, from the grocery store to school cafeterias, silently witnessing everyday life across America. Some pennies might have scratches or wear, telling their own stories of circulation, while others remain nearly flawless, as if frozen in time the day they left the Denver Mint. Collectors are drawn not just to the monetary value, but to the sense of connection these coins offer. Holding a 1979 D penny can evoke memories of childhood, family, and the history that shaped our daily lives. The design itself honors Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most iconic presidents. While the coin's very existence reflects decades of minting expertise, industrial precision, and economic history, it's a piece of heritage you can hold in your hand. Even more surprisingly, the 1979 D penny can spark curiosity and discovery. Finding one in a jar of change, examining it under a magnifying glass, noticing a slight anomaly. These small moments capture the thrill of collecting. It reminds us that history is not only in textbooks or museums, but can also be found in the ordinary objects we overlook every day. For coin enthusiasts, each 1979 D penny is a puzzle, a miniature artifact, and occasionally a small fortune waiting to be recognized. Today, collectors continue to search for the 1979 D Lincoln penny in pristine condition or with interesting errors. Some preserve their pennies in albums or protective cases, carefully maintaining the luster and preventing damage. Others enjoy the excitement of discovering one in circulation, a small victory that bridges the past and present. The appeal lies in the combination of history, artistry, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. In the end, the 1979 D Lincoln penny is far more than a simple piece of currency. It is a tangible link to the past, a reminder of the people, events, and culture of its time. Its value, whether sentimental or monetary, comes from its story, its craftsmanship, and the small but significant role it plays in the broader history of American coinage. The next time you glance at a penny, remember that among the ordinary coins in your pocket, there might be one with a story waiting to be discovered. A story that could surprise you, delight you, or even change the way you see something as simple as a small piece of metal stamped with a president's face. Could a single penny from 1979 quietly be the treasure you've been overlooking? Perhaps the next one you find is more than just a coin. It could be a piece of history, a collectible, and a connection to a moment in time that you can hold in your hand. The story of the 1979 D Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest objects can carry immense value and intrigue, if only we take the time to look closely. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary yet so extraordinary that it could quietly be worth tens of thousands of dollars without anyone realizing it. A coin you might have in your pocket or tucked away in a drawer, hiding a secret that only collectors dream about. This is the story of the 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has fascinated collectors and treasure hunters for decades. The 1980 Lincoln penny is one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Most of us have handled one at some point, maybe without even noticing its subtle beauty. It carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. But while most pennies of this era came stamped with a small mint mark indicating where they were produced, this particular version has none. And that lack of a tiny letter is what sets it apart, giving it a mystique that has made collectors sit up and pay attention. To understand why this coin exists, we need to look back at the year 1980. The United States was in a time of economic change, and the penny itself had long been a symbol of everyday life. Lincoln pennies had been produced continuously since 1909, primarily in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In 1980, pennies were struck in Denver and Philadelphia, with Denver coins carrying a small D and Philadelphia coins typically showing no mint mark for decades. But by 1980, the lack of a mint mark on a Philadelphia coin was becoming unusual enough that it caught the eye of serious collectors. This was because, for a short period, some pennies intended to carry a mint mark were accidentally left blank, creating what numismatists call a no mint mark error. The design itself is classic Lincoln. On the front, the obverse, you see Lincoln's profile facing right. His thoughtful expression has been a fixture on American coins for more than a century. Surrounding him are the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1980. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a nod to the nation's capital and to Lincoln's lasting legacy. But what makes this coin unique is not its design. It's the unexpected absence of the mint mark. Most 1980 pennies from Philadelphia had no mint mark by default, but some were struck under circumstances that make the no mint mark examples extraordinarily rare and highly collectible. The coin is made primarily of copper, with a small percentage of zinc, giving it a distinct reddish-brown color that can develop a beautiful patina over time. This metal composition, combined with the minting process of the era, means that coins can show varying levels of wear and coloration, making each one slightly different. Some coins exhibit minor errors, such as doubling of the date or small die cracks, but the real prize for collectors is the no-mint mark itself. It's subtle, almost invisible unless you know exactly what to look for, but it can significantly increase the coin's value. So why is this penny rare and valuable? The answer lies in its scarcity and the story behind it. While millions of 1980 pennies were minted, only a tiny fraction were struck in a way that left them without a mint mark in error. Collectors prize these coins because they represent a deviation from the norm, a small mistake that suddenly makes an ordinary object extraordinary. In the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are everything, and a 1980 penny with no mint mark in near-perfect condition can command prices far beyond what a typical penny would fetch. There have been documented sales at auctions that highlight just how valuable these coins can be. One well-preserved 1980 no-mint mark penny sold for several $1,000s, astonishing both casual collectors and seasoned investors. Online marketplaces and specialized coin shows have seen similar coins move for impressive sums, especially when graded by professional coin services. Even coins in lower condition can attract attention because the no mint mark error itself is so rare. These examples demonstrate that what seems like a small peculiarity can transform a simple penny into a prized collectible. Identifying a genuine 1980 no mint mark penny requires careful observation. The first step is to check the area above Lincoln's shoulder, where a D would normally appear for Denver minted coins. On the Philadelphia coins of that year, the absence of a mint mark is standard. But what makes the collectible version unusual is the way it was struck. Authentic coins will show consistent details, a crisp design, and the natural wear of age if not in mint condition. Counterfeit or altered coins often have inconsistencies, such as uneven surfaces or improperly removed mint marks. Using a magnifying glass or loupe, comparing with verified examples, and consulting a trusted coin grading guide are the best ways to confirm authenticity. Professional grading services can also verify and certify these coins, increasing both confidence and market value. There are some fascinating and surprising details about this coin that many people don't know. For instance, the Lincoln penny was originally the first American coin to feature a real person rather than symbolic imagery. By 1980, the penny had already undergone decades of subtle design changes, yet the core elements remained the same. The 1980 no mint mark penny is part of a broader story of minor minting errors that have, over time, captured the imagination of collectors. Small errors like this often go unnoticed for decades, quietly sitting in jars, wallets, and drawers, until someone recognizes their potential. Collectors today are drawn to the 1980 no mint mark penny for more than just its monetary value. It represents a piece of history, a tangible connection to the past. It's a reminder of the complexity of coin production and how even tiny mistakes can become significant over time. Owning one is like holding a hidden story in your hand, a story that links everyday life with the meticulous craft of minting and the thrill of discovery. Coin enthusiasts enjoy hunting for such anomalies, studying their details, and sharing them with other collectors, creating a community bound by curiosity and appreciation for history. The allure of this coin goes beyond dollars and cents. It's about the excitement of finding something rare, the satisfaction of understanding its place in history, and the potential of uncovering hidden treasures in the everyday items around us. A 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a gateway to learning about the past, exploring the intricate world of numismatics, and perhaps even changing the way we see value in ordinary objects. If you happen to come across a 1980 penny without a mint mark, take a closer look. Examine it carefully, compare it with verified examples, and consider having it appraised by a professional. You might be holding a coin that few people in the world even know exists, a piece of history hiding in plain sight. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most ordinary things can carry the most extraordinary stories. And who knows, your humble penny could be the key to uncovering a treasure that's been hiding quietly, waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just metal in your hand. It's a conversation starter, a collector's dream, and a slice of history you can hold. Its rarity, its subtle beauty, and the story behind its creation make it a coin worth understanding, appreciating, and perhaps even owning. And as you examine it, you realize that the world of coins is full of hidden surprises, where even a single penny can open the door to discovery. So next time you glance at a small, copper-colored coin in your pocket, remember that it might not be just a penny. It could be a secret waiting to be revealed. Every coin has a story, but some stories are harder to find, and some coins are worth more than anyone could have imagined. The 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those stories, quietly waiting for collectors and enthusiasts to uncover its mysteries, piece by piece, year by year, penny by penny. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans have passed by countless times, and yet this single penny could be worth thousands. One small change in design, one subtle variation, and suddenly, a coin that seems ordinary becomes extraordinary. Today, we're diving into a coin that has fascinated collectors for decades, the 1982 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. What makes it special? Why do coin collectors across the country search high and low for it? By the end of this video, you'll understand why this tiny piece of copper and zinc has captured the attention of serious collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. The 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the most interesting coins in modern American history. At first glance, it might look like any other penny from your change jar. On the front, it bears the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate his 100th birthday. On the back, it features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 until 2008. But what sets this particular coin apart is a small detail, or rather, the absence of one. To understand the story behind this penny, we need to go back to 1982, a year of significant change for the U.S. Mint. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Rising copper prices that year made it expensive to continue producing pennies in that composition. The U.S. Mint made a bold decision. They would transition to a mostly zinc penny with just a thin copper coating. The result was a penny that weighed less than the ones before it, and that subtle shift in metal composition would create a collectible phenomenon. The 1982 penny is unique not just because of its metal, but also because it exists in two compositions. That year, some pennies were still struck in the traditional copper-heavy alloy, while others were made in the new zinc-heavy composition. On top of that, the mint mark, which normally indicates whether a penny was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, is missing on some coins. The 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia, immediately caught the eyes of collectors. But why is a missing mint mark such a big deal? Mint marks help establish authenticity and origin, and coins without them are often seen as rarities, especially when paired with an unusual metal composition. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is its physical characteristics. Copper pennies are slightly heavier, weighing around 3.11 grams, while the newer zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. The color can also differ slightly. Over time, copper pennies may develop a rich reddish-brown patina, while zinc pennies tend to dull more quickly. Collectors often rely on these subtle differences, along with the mint mark, to determine which 1982 pennies are more valuable. Some coins also exhibit slight striking errors, such as double die impressions or off-center strikes. These errors, though rare, add another layer of intrigue for collectors. So why is this penny considered rare or valuable? While millions of pennies were minted in 1982, the combination of no mint mark and the transition between copper and zinc made certain examples highly sought after. Collectors are particularly interested in coins that are in near-mint condition, with sharp details and minimal wear. Because these coins are over 40 years old, finding one that looks almost like new is increasingly difficult. Over time, circulation has taken its toll on most pennies, leaving only a small number of pristine specimens available for collectors. Real-life examples show just how serious collectors are about this coin. In private sales and online auctions, 1982 no mint mark pennies in exceptional condition can sell for hundreds, and in rare cases, thousands of dollars. For instance, a near-perfect uncirculated copper 1982 no mint mark penny sold at auction for over $1,000. A zinc version in excellent condition could fetch several $100s. These figures may seem astonishing for a coin that was once worth just 1 cent, but the combination of scarcity, condition, and collector interest drives these prices. For anyone looking to identify a genuine 1982 no-mint mark penny, there are a few key steps. First, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. A true no-mint mark penny will show no letter beneath the date on the front. Check the metal composition by weight if possible. Copper and zinc pennies feel different in hand. Compare the coin to verified examples online or in collector guides. Be cautious of counterfeit coins, especially those altered to appear copper-heavy or with a mint mark removed. Collectors often use magnification and professional grading services to ensure authenticity. There are also some surprising details about this coin that make it even more interesting. For example, in 1982, there was a brief period when pennies of both copper and zinc composition were struck on the same presses, which occasionally led to coins with mixed characteristics. This means some pennies may have unusual textures or color variations, making them one of a kind. Another fascinating aspect is the story behind the Philadelphia Mint itself, where these coins were produced. Operating continuously for over 2 centuries, the mint has been a witness to countless changes in American currency, and the 1982 penny is part of that long, storied history. Collectors today are drawn to the 1982 no-mint mark penny for several reasons. It represents a turning point in U.S. coinage, a tangible reminder of how something as small as metal composition can change the way a coin is valued. It's a coin that challenges collectors to pay attention to detail, to weigh, compare, and inspect, making it a rewarding pursuit. Many collectors describe the thrill of finding a pristine example as almost like discovering a hidden treasure in their own pocket change. This coin has a story, a legacy, and an element of mystery that makes it irresistible to both seasoned numismatists and casual collectors. The fascination doesn't end there. The 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny also sparks conversations about the future of money, and how even the smallest pieces of currency can tell a story about a nation's economy, history, and technology. Each coin is a snapshot of a particular moment in time, a connection between the people who used it, the mint workers who produced it, and the collectors who treasure it today. If you happen to find a 1982 Lincoln penny with no mint mark in your change jar, take a closer look. Check the weight, observe the color, and see if it has survived decades in surprisingly good condition. That tiny coin could be more than just spare change. It could be a link to history, a collectible treasure, and a reminder that sometimes, the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. And perhaps, just perhaps, the next coin you hold might be the one that sparks the curiosity of the next generation of collectors. The story of the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny teaches us that value isn't always obvious at first glance. It's in the details, the history, the rarity, and the connections it creates. So next time you see a penny, don't just toss it aside. Look closer, pay attention, and imagine the stories it might tell. After all, what seems like a small, everyday object could very well be hiding a world of history, mystery, and even wealth in plain sight. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people toss aside without a second thought. A coin that could quietly be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. One small mistake during production turned an ordinary penny into one of the most sought-after coins in American history. That coin is the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. If you've ever dug through your change or inherited a collection of old coins, this is a story you'll want to hear. The 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, first issued in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design, with Lincoln's profile on the front and the Union shield on the back, has become an iconic symbol of American coinage. Most people think pennies are just pennies, but every now and then, the U.S. Mint produces a coin with a rare feature that turns it into a treasure. In this case, it's the absence of a mint mark, a tiny letter that tells collectors where the coin was struck. To understand the rarity, we need to look at the coin's history. The year 1984 might not seem extraordinary at first glance. It was an ordinary year in American history, a time of economic growth, Ronald Reagan's presidency, and the continued production of billions of pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Normally, pennies produced in Philadelphia carry a P mint mark, while those from Denver have a D in 1984. Most pennies had the familiar mint marks, but a small batch of coins was struck without the Philadelphia mark due to a minting error. This tiny oversight is what makes the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny so fascinating. In terms of design, the 1984 Lincoln penny is identical to other pennies of the era. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile dominates the coin, with the word Liberty to the left and the year 1984 to the right. On the reverse, you see the Union shield, a symbol of unity and strength. The coin is made of copper-plated zinc, a shift from the earlier mostly copper coins. While the design itself isn't unusual, the error lies in the missing mint mark. For collectors, the absence of a single letter transforms an ordinary penny into a rare find. So why is this penny valuable? The answer comes down to scarcity and collector interest. Errors like missing mint marks are unpredictable. They can occur when a minting machine fails to properly stamp the mark, and most of the coins with errors are caught and destroyed before entering circulation. But occasionally, some slip through, ending up in rolls of pennies that unsuspecting people carry in their wallets or piggy banks. The 1984 no mint mark penny is one of those rare instances, making it a highly desirable item for collectors. Real examples highlight just how valuable these coins can be. In recent years, no mint mark 1984 pennies in high grades have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. A perfectly preserved coin with a sharp strike and full detail can reach prices that are simply unimaginable for a coin most people see as worthless. Even circulated coins, which show some wear from everyday use, can fetch hundreds of dollars because collectors prize the rarity above condition. The market is driven by scarcity and the thrill of owning something almost impossible to find. Identifying a genuine 1984 no mint mark penny requires careful observation. First, compare it to a normal 1984 penny. Look closely where the P mint mark should appear on the obverse, just above the date. If the letter is missing, that's a good sign, but it's not enough to confirm authenticity. Some counterfeit coins have been altered to remove or obscure mint marks. Experts recommend examining the coin under magnification to check for signs of tampering, uneven surfaces, or unusual tooling marks. Certification from a professional grading service can confirm a coin's authenticity, giving collectors confidence and ensuring the coin's market value. There are some fascinating details about the 1984 no mint mark penny that often surprise people. For instance, this era coin is sometimes confused with older pennies struck before Philadelphia added the P mark consistently in 1942. The Lincoln penny has a long history of design changes, metal shifts, and minting anomalies, so collectors often enjoy tracing these variations. The 1984 no mint mark penny connects the modern era of coinage to a long tradition of unexpected quirks that make coin collecting so thrilling. Collectors are drawn to this coin for more than just its market value. Owning a 1984 no mint mark penny is like holding a tiny piece of history. It tells a story of human error, the intricacies of minting, and the unexpected ways everyday objects can gain significance. Some collectors describe the thrill of finding such a coin in circulation as almost magical, a reminder that treasures can appear where you least expect them. The coin also offers a sense of financial opportunity. Even if you're not a full-time collector, possessing a rare penny like this one can be a tangible asset, a piece of wealth hidden in plain sight. What makes this coin truly captivating is the combination of simplicity and mystery. To the untrained eye, it's just another penny, but to a collector, it represents a rare event that slipped through the massive machinery of the U.S. Mint. Every time someone discovers one, it sparks excitement and curiosity, reminding us how small details can carry immense value. The story of the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary objects hold the most extraordinary secrets. Even today, collectors keep a close eye on rolls of pennies, hoping to stumble upon this elusive coin. The thrill of the hunt, combined with the tangible link to history, makes the 1984 no mint mark penny a standout in the world of numismatics. It's a coin that captures attention not just for what it looks like, but for what it represents: rarity, opportunity, and the unexpected joys of discovery. So the next time you sift through loose change, take a moment to examine each penny carefully. One coin, overlooked and unnoticed, could hold a story worth thousands. The 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is more than just metal and design. It's a bridge to the past, a collector's dream, and a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. Who knows, the coin you think is just spare change could be the one that surprises you, the one that proves that even in the modern world, History and fortune can be found in the smallest of places. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans pass by every day, never realizing it could be worth far more than its face value. What if I told you that a simple Lincoln penny from 1985, minted in Denver, carries a history, secrets, and collector value that could surprise even the most seasoned coin enthusiasts? Today, we're diving deep into the 1985 Lincoln penny, exploring its story, its rare features, and why some people are willing to pay serious money for a piece of this humble American currency. The 1985 Lincoln penny is a small copper-plated zinc coin, part of the long-running series honoring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Like all pennies minted in Denver that year, it carries the letter D below the date on the obverse side. At first glance, it might look ordinary, a coin you'd find in pocket change or a jar at home. But for collectors, this penny has details worth noticing. The history of this coin takes us back to 1985, a time when the United States was still using the Lincoln Memorial design that had been introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies each year to meet everyday demand. But even among billions, tiny differences and errors could appear. And these subtle variations are what often catch the eyes of collectors. The 1985 penny is primarily made of copper, as pennies minted before 1982 were nearly solid copper. After 1982, the composition changed to a mostly zinc core with a thin copper plating. By 1985, the coins you see are 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, which gives them a lighter feel than the older solid copper pennies. This difference in metal can affect both the coin's weight and how it wears over time. When we look closely at the design, the obverse features a detailed profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above and "Liberty" to the left of the date and mint mark. The reverse shows the familiar Lincoln Memorial, complete with intricate architectural details. One subtle point of interest among coin enthusiasts is the potential for doubled dies or slight variations in the lettering or numbers. While the 1985 penny is not widely known for major errors, a few rare examples do exist where doubling is noticeable on the date or the mint mark. Coins with these small anomalies can be highly sought after by collectors. Now, why is this penny considered valuable at all? For most coins minted in large quantities, their everyday worth is just 1 cent. But rarity, condition, and unique characteristics can turn a humble penny into a collector's item. In the case of the 1985 Lincoln penny, a few factors contribute to interest. High-grade examples, those that appear nearly untouched and retain their original luster, are far rarer than worn coins. Certain error coins, like those with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual toning, can dramatically increase in value. To give you a clearer picture, let's look at some examples from the market. A typical circulated 1985 penny may only be worth a few cents, but uncirculated examples graded by professional coin grading services can fetch several dollars each. Coins with notable errors or exceptional condition have been known to sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars in auctions. While that may seem modest compared to some rare coins worth thousands, it's important to remember that millions of 1985 pennies were minted, so anything truly exceptional stands out immediately. For those curious about spotting a genuine 1985 penny, there are a few tips. First, check the mint mark. The D should be crisp and correctly positioned beneath the date. Inspect the date itself for any signs of doubling or distortion, which may indicate a rare variety. The coin should feel consistent in weight for its metal composition, and the surface should show natural wear if circulated or an original luster if uncirculated. Counterfeit coins are rare for this type, but it's always safer to compare your coin to authenticated examples or consult a reputable dealer before assuming any extraordinary value. Beyond its monetary interest, the 1985 penny carries some fun and surprising details. For instance, This was one of the last pennies widely minted with a familiar copper-plated zinc composition, before the designs began to be experimented with for special collector editions in later years. The Lincoln Memorial on the back of the coin is so detailed that if you look closely, you can see tiny figures inside the columns, an aspect that many casual observers miss entirely. Additionally, the year 1985 places this coin in the middle of a decade marked by economic growth and cultural change in America, which adds an unexpected historical context for collectors who appreciate more than just the coin's face value. Collectors love the 1985 D penny today for several reasons. It's a tangible connection to everyday American life in the 1980s. It represents the craftsmanship of the U.S., mint at a time when coins were still primarily handled by hand and struck with care. And for those who enjoy the thrill of discovery, there's always the chance that a jar of old coins at home contains a high-grade or error version of a coin that otherwise seems common. In other words, even a coin that looks ordinary could hold a story and a reward for someone willing to look closely. As we wrap up, think about this. Millions of these coins are out there, quietly circulating in wallets and jars. Most people see them as mere pennies, but among them, there are coins that tell a story, coins that carry a piece of history, and coins that might be worth far more than a single cent. The next time you come across a 1985 D Lincoln penny, take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for the mint mark, the date, the condition, and any subtle irregularities. You might just be holding a small but fascinating fragment of American history, a coin that connects you to generations of everyday life, while offering a glimpse into the world of collectors who treasure even the simplest copper discs. So the question lingers. In that jar of pennies on your counter, could one of them be more than meets the eye? Could the next coin you hold turn out to be a hidden treasure? A remarkable 1985 D Lincoln penny that sparks curiosity, admiration, and maybe even a little financial excitement. Keep looking, because sometimes history hides in the smallest details. And in the world of coins, even a humble penny can have a story worth discovering. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people pass by every day, never realizing it could be worth far more than its face value. A coin so ordinary at first glance, yet hiding a story that could turn a casual penny into a treasure. Today, we're talking about one of the most fascinating Lincoln pennies from recent decades, the 1987 no-mint mark penny. What makes this coin so intriguing, and why are collectors across the country still hunting for it? Let's dive in. The 1987 Lincoln penny, officially known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, is a coin that almost everyone in the United States has seen. It features Abraham Lincoln on the front, a familiar profile that has adorned pennies since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1987 edition seems, at first glance, like any other penny you might find in your pocket or in a jar of loose change. But there's a twist. The mint mark, a tiny letter that usually indicates where the coin was produced, is missing. In most cases, the 1987 penny was minted in Philadelphia, and coins from this mint typically do not have a mint mark. Coins from Denver carry a small D beneath the year. The absence of a mint mark on a Philadelphia coin is normal. But what makes certain 1987 pennies special is their rarity in specific conditions and varieties. Some coins from this year were struck in such a way that collectors consider them unusual or unique. These anomalies are what make the 1987 no-mint mark penny interesting to coin enthusiasts and can potentially increase its value. The history of the 1987 Lincoln penny is straightforward but important to understand. By 1987, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies each year. The composition of the coin had changed over the decades. From 1909 to 1982, pennies were primarily made of copper. But due to rising copper prices, the mint switched to a mostly zinc composition in 1982, with only a thin copper plating. By 1987, this zinc-based penny was standard. It was a durable coin, cost-effective to produce, and looked just like the pennies people had been using for decades. Despite its ordinary appearance, coins from this period can still carry hidden value. The 1987 penny's design was familiar and comforting. Lincoln's profile on the front represented honesty, leadership, and history. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial symbolized national pride and unity. But beyond design, the coin had unique features that collectors watch for. The copper-plated zinc composition gives the coin a specific weight and feel, slightly lighter than the older, solid copper pennies. Some 1987 pennies have minor minting errors, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or lamination flaws. These imperfections are small, but in the world of coin collecting, small details can make a huge difference in value. So why is the 1987 no-mint mark penny considered rare or valuable? The truth is, it's not rare in the sense that only a handful exist. Millions were minted. What makes some of these pennies collectible are the unique conditions and the errors. Coins in uncirculated or pristine condition, especially those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch higher prices than their face value. A flawless 1987 penny might be worth a few dollars to a collector, whereas an error coin can be worth significantly more. Rarity in coin collecting often comes down to condition, production anomalies, and demand among collectors. Real-life examples show just how collectors value these coins. An uncirculated 1987 no-mint mark penny might sell online for between $2 and $10, depending on its grade. A coin with a noticeable minting error could reach higher amounts at auctions or private sales. While this may not seem like a life-changing sum, the thrill comes from discovering a coin that stands out from the billions minted in that year. For collectors who search through bags of pennies or estate collections, finding a perfect 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a small victory that can feel like uncovering a hidden treasure. Identifying a real 1987 no-mint mark penny is not complicated, but attention to detail is key. Genuine coins from Philadelphia will have no letter beneath the year. Look for clear, sharp details on Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial. Examine the coin's surface for any unusual markings or doubling, but be careful. There are fake error coins in circulation. Using a magnifying glass and consulting reputable coin guides or grading services can help verify authenticity. Coin collectors often advise against buying from unverified sellers, as minor details can significantly affect value. There are also some surprising and fun facts about the 1987 Lincoln penny. Did you know that despite being over 3 decades old, many of these coins are still in circulation because pennies are so durable? Some have minor scratches or wear, but others remain in mint condition, tucked away in coin collections or forgotten jars. The 1987 penny is also part of a long lineage of Lincoln cents, connecting it to a century of American history. And while it might seem ordinary, the small design details, like the shield of the Lincoln Memorial, remind us that even everyday coins can carry historical significance. Collectors today love the 1987 no-mint mark penny for several reasons. First, it's approachable. Almost anyone can find one and start a collection. Second, it's a piece of modern history, linking the present to a design tradition that stretches back over 100 years. Third, it offers the excitement of discovery. Whether it's a coin in pristine condition, an unusual error, or a rare find in a jar of loose change, the 1987 penny has the power to spark curiosity and even provide a modest return for collectors. There's also a sense of nostalgia. Many collectors grew up using these pennies, which makes owning a perfect example feel personal and meaningful. In the end, the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that value isn't always obvious. A coin that seems ordinary can hold stories, history, and even a touch of mystery. It encourages collectors to look closely, appreciate the craftsmanship, and explore the small details that make each coin unique. The next time you hold a penny in your hand, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be holding a piece of history that others have overlooked, waiting for someone to recognize its true worth. Could the coin in your pocket be one of those rare 1987 no-mint mark pennies that collectors dream of finding? The answer might surprise you. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary in your hand that most people would toss it into a jar without a second thought. Yet it hides a story that could surprise you, and maybe even change the way you see everyday money. One penny from 1993, struck in Denver, quietly carries secrets that collectors across the country hunt for, and its subtle differences can make a dramatic difference in value. What makes this tiny copper disc so fascinating? Let's uncover the story of the 1993 D Mint mark Lincoln penny. The 1993 D Lincoln penny is, on the surface, just like the pennies we all know. It features Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" arching above his head, and "Liberty" etched along the side. The year 1993 sits just below Lincoln, with a small D beside it indicating that this coin was minted in Denver. On the back, the classic Lincoln Memorial dominates the design. And if you look closely, you'll notice the tiny details of the steps and columns that make this design iconic. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin in your pocket change, but collectors know to look deeper. The story of the 1993 penny starts with its place in the long history of the Lincoln cent. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By 1993, the Lincoln penny had been in circulation for 84 years, and the design had become familiar to everyone. The U.S. Mint in Denver produced millions of these coins as part of the standard yearly production, ensuring that change in every pocket across the country included Lincoln's familiar face. But even in a year of mass production, subtle differences in minting, errors, or condition could transform an ordinary penny into a coin worth much more than its 1-cent face value. What makes the 1993 D penny particularly interesting are its physical characteristics. The coin is primarily composed of a copper-plated zinc core, a standard for pennies after 1982, giving it a reddish-brown appearance. Its diameter is 19 millimeters, and it weighs just over 2.5 grams. For collectors, the most fascinating aspects are not the size or weight, but the potential minting errors that occurred during production. In some rare cases, coins can come out with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual die cracks, imperfections that might go unnoticed by casual observers but are highly prized by coin collectors. So why is this penny considered rare or valuable? While most 1993 D pennies are common and circulate widely, a small number of coins were struck with errors that make them extraordinary. One notable example is the doubled die variety, where certain parts of the design appear slightly shifted or doubled. This can be seen on the inscriptions, such as Liberty or the year 1993. Another rare occurrence is die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines across the coin, indicating a slight fracture in the die used to strike it. These mistakes are natural byproducts of the minting process, but create coins that are limited in number and highly sought after by collectors. To put the value into perspective, ordinary 1993 D pennies are worth their face value, 1 cent. However, coins with significant errors or in uncirculated, pristine condition can fetch surprisingly high prices. For instance, certain double die varieties have been sold in collector auctions for hundreds or even over $1,000, depending on their condition. Coins graded by professional services, which assess factors like luster, strike quality, and wear, often command higher prices. A flawless, error-free 1993 D penny in mint condition can also be valuable simply because of its rarity in uncirculated form. These coins are highly coveted by collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents. But with value comes caution. How can you tell if a 1993 D penny is a genuine rare find or a clever counterfeit? First, pay attention to the details. Genuine coins will have consistent, sharp edges and lettering, and the mint mark will align perfectly with the year. Doubling in lettering or numbers should be subtle, not exaggerated, and die cracks will appear as thin raised lines rather than scratches or marks added later. Comparing the coin to verified examples from trusted sources is essential. Professional coin grading services offer authentication and grading, ensuring that what you have is truly what it claims to be. Collectors often rely on these services, especially when dealing with potentially high-value coins. Some surprising facts about the 1993 D penny add another layer of fascination. For one, even though it was minted in the millions, finding a coin with a rare error is like searching for a needle in a haystack. The U.S. Mint has produced billions of pennies over the years, yet only a tiny fraction carry the unique traits that make them valuable. Another interesting detail is the coin's metal composition. Because pennies since 1982 are primarily zinc, they are lighter and have a different feel than the old pure copper pennies, which can be a quick way to distinguish older coins from modern ones. Finally, some collectors enjoy the historical connection. The 1993 D penny is a small piece of the broader story of Lincoln cents, linking 20th century minting technology to the legacy of one of America's most admired presidents. Collectors love the 1993 D Lincoln penny today for many reasons. Its unassuming appearance hides the potential for significant value, and the thrill of discovery is a major part of its appeal. Coins with errors or in pristine condition become conversation pieces, teaching tools, and sometimes even investments. They connect people to history in a tangible way, letting you hold a piece of the past in your hand. For coin enthusiasts, finding a rare 1993 D penny can feel like uncovering a secret treasure, tucked away in plain sight. Even beyond collectors, the story of this coin sparks curiosity. How could something so common carry hidden surprises? Why do small mistakes in minting create such fascination? And most importantly, how many other coins like it are sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, or old coin rolls across America? Every penny tells a story, but the 1993 D Lincoln penny proves that even the most familiar objects can hold secrets that capture the imagination. So the next time you pick up a penny from Denver dated 1993, take a closer look. Examine the details, check the mint mark, and maybe even research whether it has a rare error. You might just find that what seemed like an ordinary coin is actually a tiny, copper-clad gateway to history, mystery, and the exciting world of coin collecting. Who knows? That unassuming penny in your hand could be more than just change. It could be the beginning of a remarkable discovery. The 1993 D Lincoln penny reminds us that treasures can hide in the simplest places, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And while not every coin will be a record-breaking find, the thrill of searching, learning, and uncovering these small wonders is what keeps collectors captivated year after year. Maybe one day, you'll pick up a coin and realize you're holding something extraordinary, a story waiting to be told, and a connection to the long, fascinating history of American money. This penny, small and everyday, invites a simple question. Could the coin you pass by every day be hiding a secret worth more than you ever imagined? Keep your eyes open, because in the world of rare coins, ordinary is never quite what it seems. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary, yet potentially worth thousands of dollars. One small copper disc, sitting quietly in your pocket or coin jar, could be hiding a secret that only a few collectors in the world truly understand. Today, we're talking about one of those hidden treasures, the 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like any other penny, but for those who know, it can be a rare gem with remarkable value. The 1994 Lincoln penny is part of a long-standing tradition in American coinage. Abraham Lincoln has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909, commemorating his 100th birthday. By 1994, the Lincoln penny had become a common sight in wallets, cash registers, and piggy banks across the United States. Most pennies from this year were produced in massive quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and nearly all carried the expected mint marks indicating their place of origin. But among these, a small number of coins emerged without a mint mark, creating a fascinating anomaly. In order to understand why this penny is special, it helps to know a bit about how pennies were made in 1994. The United States Mint had already been producing pennies for decades using a mixture of metals. By this time, pennies were primarily made from copper-plated zinc, a shift that started in 1982. The outer layer of copper gave the penny its classic reddish appearance, while the zinc core made it lighter and more cost-effective to produce. The 1994 penny followed this standard composition. On the obverse, or front of the coin, we see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner more than 80 years earlier. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. What makes the 1994 no mint mark penny unique isn't its metal composition or its design. It's the absence of a mint mark where you would normally expect to find one. Most 1994 pennies carry either a P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver, stamped just above the date. However, a rare few were struck without any mint mark at all. Coins like these were usually errors, and error coins often catch the attention of collectors. In this case, the missing mint mark is considered a die error, meaning that during the production process, the minting die used to stamp the coin didn't impress the letter that indicates its origin. So why does this small omission make a penny valuable? Coin collectors or numismatists prize rarity. Even a coin from a common year like 1994 becomes special when it has a characteristic that distinguishes it from every other coin in circulation. The absence of a mint mark is a rare error, which instantly elevates a coin from a mundane piece of currency to a collectible item. Many collectors seek error coins because they represent an unusual event in the otherwise precise and repetitive minting process. This type of coin also has a story, a little mystery that adds intrigue and emotional appeal. Real-world examples show how this coin can command significant interest. While exact sales records for every 1994 no-mint mark penny are scarce, coins with similar error features from other years have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and rarity. In circulated condition, a 1994 no-mint mark penny might attract offers from dedicated collectors in the low hundreds, but an uncirculated or high-grade example could sell for far more. Auctions for error coins often see competitive bidding, as collectors vie for the chance to own something unusual and historically significant. If you think you might have found a 1994 penny with no mint mark, it's important to know how to verify its authenticity. Start by examining the area above the date carefully. A genuine no mint mark penny will show no sign of a letter at all, not even a faint outline. It's also helpful to compare your coin to a standard 1994 P or D penny under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Weight and metal composition are consistent with normal 1994 pennies, so the key feature is purely visual. For high-value coins, professional grading services can confirm authenticity and assign a condition grade, which can greatly increase its market value. Be cautious of counterfeit or altered coins, as some people have attempted to remove mint marks artificially to mimic rare errors. Beyond rarity and value, there are some surprising details about Lincoln pennies that collectors love. The 1994 penny carries subtle details in Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial that are often overlooked. For example, the number of steps leading up to the memorial on the reverse side and the intricate lines in Lincoln's hair and beard are more than just decoration. They reflect Brenner's original artistic intent and the mint's precision in production. Additionally, the Lincoln penny has the distinction of being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, rather than a symbolic figure or abstract design, giving it a unique place in American numismatic history. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only for its potential monetary value, but also for the story it tells. Each coin represents a moment in time at the U.S. Mint, a tiny error frozen in history. For those who appreciate the subtleties of coinage, the 1994 no mint mark penny is more than currency. It's a conversation piece, a tangible connection to the intricacies of production, and a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary surprises. The charm of collecting pennies like this lies in discovery. Many collectors report the thrill of sifting through rolls of seemingly common coins, never knowing when they might stumble upon a rare variety. The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny embodies that excitement. Its rarity is subtle, not flashy, which makes it a quiet but captivating treasure. Owning one is a testament to patience, attention to detail, and a love for history wrapped in copper and zinc. In the end, the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny serves as a reminder that the ordinary can sometimes hide the extraordinary. What seems like a simple coin from your pocket change might actually be a window into American history, a piece of numismatic mystery, and a potential collectible worth far more than its face value. So next time you empty your coin jar or search through a pocket full of pennies, pay close attention. The next small copper disc you hold could be the one that tells an amazing story or surprises you with a hidden treasure. Could your coins be hiding a secret worth thousands? Only careful eyes and a little curiosity will tell. This coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a tiny artifact, a reminder that history often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. And who knows, the next 1994 Lincoln penny you pick up could be the rare one that sparks your journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people pass by every day without a second thought. It's small, familiar, even ordinary. But what if I told you that one particular penny from 1997 could be the key to unlocking a story of history, craftsmanship, and even hidden value that many collectors are still chasing today? This is not just any coin. It's the 1997 D Mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that quietly carries a tale few Americans know. The 1997 D penny is part of the long lineage of Lincoln cents, coins that have been circulating in the United States since 1909. These pennies feature Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, as a tribute to the 16th president, whose leadership and vision changed the course of the nation. The D mark on this coin indicates it was minted in Denver, one of the two primary mints producing pennies that year, the other being Philadelphia, which carries a P mint mark. On the reverse, the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had become standard since 1959, replacing the original wheat ears motif. The year 1997 may not sound particularly historic, but in the world of coin collecting, every year has a story. By 1997, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies annually, making it unlikely for most to hold much value beyond face value. Yet, certain coins from this year stand out, especially those with unique minting quirks, errors, or exceptional quality. The 1997 D Lincoln penny is a case where subtle differences can dramatically increase a coin's appeal to collectors. This penny was struck from a copper-plated zinc composition, which had been standard since 1982. That means the coin is 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating. While this may sound ordinary, the metal composition plays a role in how the coin wears over time, and in some cases, how rare variations survive in pristine condition. Unlike earlier all-copper pennies, the 1997 D pennies are more prone to corrosion and damage, making well-preserved examples particularly desirable. One unique feature that collectors watch for in the 1997 D penny is minting errors. Errors can range from doubling of letters and numbers, known as double die errors, to off-center strikes or missing elements. In 1997, a few coins were discovered with minor die cracks, giving them a slightly raised line or distortion that immediately catches a collector's eye. These subtle anomalies are not visible to the casual observer, but can make a coin significantly more valuable at auction. Another aspect that makes the 1997 D penny appealing is the quality of uncirculated coins. Coins that have never entered general circulation, often graded as MS65 or higher by professional grading services, can fetch prices far above face value. The combination of scarcity, mint condition, and historical significance elevates these coins from everyday change to collectible treasures. So, why would someone pay more than a penny for a coin most of us see every day? The answer lies in rarity and demand. While millions of 1997 D pennies exist, only a fraction are in exceptional condition or exhibit the rare minting errors that collectors crave. These anomalies are often discovered in unsearched rolls or personal collections, and when they surface, they create excitement in the numismatic community. Real-world examples help illustrate the point. In recent years, auctions for high-grade 1997 D pennies with minor errors or flawless surfaces have seen prices ranging from a few dollars to over $100, depending on the severity of the error and the quality of the coin. One particular sale of a near-perfect 1997 D penny with a small die crack sold for nearly $250 to a collector who understood its worth. While these numbers may seem modest compared to historic rarities, they are impressive when you consider that a regular penny has been worth, well, 1 cent for decades. Identifying a real 1997 D penny is easier than you might think, but it still requires a careful eye. First, check the mint mark, a clear, well-defined D on the obverse just below the year. Look for the quality of the strike. Uncirculated coins have crisp details, sharp lettering, and a smooth surface without wear. When inspecting for errors, use a magnifying glass to check for doubling in the numbers or letters, unusual lines, or missing details. Counterfeit coins exist, but most are low-grade attempts, and serious collectors rely on grading services to certify authenticity. One fun fact that surprises many is that despite its familiarity, the Lincoln penny has gone through over a dozen design changes and material shifts since its introduction in 1909. The 1997 D penny represents a period where the mint experimented with efficiency in production, while maintaining the classic design that generations of Americans recognize. Another interesting tidbit is that some 1997 D pennies show a slight variation in color due to differences in copper plating, creating coins that are uniquely identifiable to collectors who know what to look for. Collectors are drawn to the 1997 D Lincoln penny not just for its potential value, but for the story it tells. Holding a coin minted over 25 years ago connects people to a moment in time, a small piece of American history that continues to circulate quietly, often overlooked. Its design honors a president who helped define the nation, while its rare errors or exceptional condition allow collectors to feel like they have something truly special. This combination of history, artistry, and scarcity is what keeps the market for pennies like this alive and active, decades after they were minted. Even today, the search for a remarkable 1997 D penny continues. Numismatists and casual collectors alike open rolls from banks, inspect jars passed down through generations, and carefully examine each coin they come across, hoping to find that one example that stands out. Every mint mark, every detail, every tiny imperfection can tell a story or reveal a hidden value that others have overlooked. In the end, the 1997 D Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest, most ordinary-seeming objects can hold surprises. What looks like a simple coin in your pocket might just be a window into history, a collector's treasure, or a conversation starter for years to come. The next time you come across a penny from 1997 with a Denver mint mark, take a closer look. You might be holding more than just change. You might be holding a piece of history, quietly waiting to reveal its secrets. What other everyday coins might be hiding similar stories? Could the next rare penny be sitting in your own jar of change, overlooked but waiting for someone curious enough to notice? The answer might be closer than you think. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could be worth more than a small car, yet most people pass it by every day without noticing. A coin that quietly slipped into circulation over half a century ago, but today commands attention and curiosity from collectors across the country. That coin is the 1964 D Lincoln penny, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but carries a story that can surprise even seasoned collectors. The 1964 D Lincoln penny is part of one of the longest-running coin series in American history. Featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, it's a coin that has been in pockets, jars, and cash registers for decades. But this particular version, minted in Denver, holds a special place in the world of numismatics. Its seemingly simple copper-plated design hides layers of history, scarcity, and value that make it a gem for anyone interested in coins. To understand why this penny is significant, we need to go back to the year 1964. The United States was in a period of transition. It was the height of the post-war era, with a booming economy and a nation looking forward to progress and change. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was tasked with producing billions of coins to meet the demands of everyday commerce. That year, over 1 billion pennies were struck, but among them, the 1964 D Lincoln penny stands out because of its unique place in history and the subtle variations that can appear between individual coins. The design of the 1964 D penny was familiar to Americans. The obverse side features Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, in a dignified profile, designed originally by Victor David Brenner in 1909 for the Lincoln Cents debut. On the reverse is the Lincoln Memorial, which had been added in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This combination of historical tribute and intricate design makes every penny in this series visually interesting. But the 1964 D penny carries its own secrets. One of the unique aspects of the 1964 D penny lies in its metal composition. Pennies minted before 1982 were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This gives them a heavier, more solid feel compared to modern pennies. Collectors often notice the distinct reddish hue of older copper coins, which deepens over time. But more than just the material, some 1964 D pennies carry minting errors, tiny irregularities created in the process that can make a coin much more valuable than its face value. These errors can range from doubled dies, where letters or numbers appear slightly doubled, to off-center strikes or even missing mint marks. Each variation tells a story about the production process and the care or occasional mistakes at the Denver Mint. Why is this penny rare or valuable? While the 1964 D Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers, scarcity arises from condition and quality. Most pennies from that era were circulated, scratched, or worn down, losing the sharp detail that collectors prize. High-grade examples, especially those that are uncirculated or retain their original mint luster, can fetch remarkable prices. Some coins are also prized for their errors, which were not intentional but occurred in a way that makes them fascinating to collectors. A 1960-40 penny with a strong stripe, clear details, and rich copper color can be considered highly desirable, especially when verified by professional grading services. Real-world auction results demonstrate just how sought-after certain examples can be. While a standard circulated 1960-40 penny may only be worth a few cents above its face value, a high-grade, uncirculated coin can reach into the hundreds of dollars, and rare error versions have been known to sell for thousands. Collectors and investors alike keep an eye out for these coins at coin shows, online auctions, and even among their own collections, hoping to uncover a hidden treasure in a jar of seemingly ordinary pennies. Identifying a genuine 1960-40 penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. First, examine the mint mark, a small D located just below the date, indicating it was produced in Denver. The date and mint mark should be crisp, and the coin's edges should show uniformity typical of the era. Be cautious of reproductions or altered coins. Some fakes try to add a mint mark or artificially enhance the color to mimic uncirculated examples. Paying attention to weight, color, and the precision of the design can help collectors separate genuine coins from counterfeit ones. Consulting reputable grading guides or professional services is often the safest route for those serious about buying or selling. There are also fascinating details that make the 1960-40 penny a coin of intrigue. For example, some coins exhibit subtle die varieties, where tiny changes or inconsistencies in the engraved dies result in slight differences between coins. These minor variations are often overlooked by casual collectors, but are highly prized in specialist circles. Additionally, the 1960-40 penny is a snapshot of American history, produced in a year that saw the Civil Rights Act signed into law, a presidential election, and a society in flux. Holding one is like holding a piece of that history in your hand. Collectors love the 1960-40 Lincoln penny not just for its potential value, but for the story it tells. It represents craftsmanship, history, and the thrill of discovery. Searching through rolls of pennies for a gem, knowing that a coin nearly identical to the one in your hand may be worth thousands, adds a layer of excitement that few other collectibles can match. The 1960-40 penny bridges the gap between everyday currency and cherished artifact, a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary significance. As we consider the 1960-40 Lincoln penny today, it's easy to see why it continues to capture the imagination of collectors. It's not just a coin, it's a story, a piece of history, and for some, a potential investment. And the next time you find an old penny in a jar or tucked into a couch cushion, you might wonder, could this be one of the rare treasures hiding in plain sight? The 1960-40 Lincoln penny reminds us that even in the smallest, most familiar things, there is mystery and value waiting to be discovered. Perhaps the penny in your hand today could be the key to uncovering a piece of history, a reminder that every coin has a story, and sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are the ones we overlook every day.